Boris Johnson was accused of talking about human beings like dogs by former Liberal Democrat leader Nick Clegg in 2013, unearthed reports reveal. Less than 3 weeks after leaving the intensive care unit of St Thomas Hospital, London, Prime Minister Boris Johnson returned to work in Downing Street on Monday. This week and the next are particularly crucial for him, as he will have to make a series of decisions that will arguably define both his premiership and the nation's future. Mr. Johnson has to decide when, and how, to ease the lockdown restrictions that he imposed over a month ago. One cabinet minister told The Times, "It's the political calculus of life and death. The work is going on about how we transition from pandemic to epidemic. The question is how many cases of coronavirus, and deaths, are you willing to live with in exchange for reopening the economy?" As pressure piles on Mr. Johnson, who became a father again on Wednesday when his partner Carrie Symonds gave birth to a healthy baby boy, one of his most controversial speeches has resurfaced. In 2013, the then Mayor of London delivered the annual Margaret Thatcher Lecture, staged by the right-wing Centre for Policy Studies think tank, and used the speech to argue that tackling economic inequality was futile because some people's IQ is too low for them to compete. Mr. Johnson hailed what he called the spirit of envy, and said inequality was essential for economic growth. He also called for the creation of a new generation of grammar schools to help the brightest children from poor homes. But he insisted he did not want the economic recovery to breed a new generation of heartless bankers. Mr. Johnson said, "I am afraid that violent economic centrifuge is operating on human beings who are already very far from equal in raw ability, if not spiritual worth. Whatever you may think of the value of IQ tests, it is surely relevant to a conversation about equality that as many as 16% of our species have an IQ below 85, while about 2% have an IQ above 130. The harder you shake the pack, the easier it will be for some cornflakes to get to the top. And for one reason or another, boardroom greed or, as I am assured, the natural and God-given talent of boardroom inhabitants, the income gap between the top cornflakes and the bottom cornflakes is getting wider than ever. I stress I don't believe that economic equality is possible. Indeed, some measure of inequality is essential for the spirit of envy and keeping up with the Joneses that is, like greed, a valuable spur to economic activity." Former Lib Dem leader Nick Clegg condemned the remarks and accused the former mayor of treating human beings like dogs. He told his LBC phone-in, "I don't agree with Boris Johnson on this. Much as he is a funny and engaging guy, I have to say these comments reveal a fairly unpleasant, careless elitism that somehow suggests that we should give up on a whole swath of our fellow citizens."